Hello, and welcome to Caffeine Entertainment. I am Mental9R, and this is episode 3 of Backlogs and Replays. And in today's episode, as you may have guessed from my Assassin's Creed background, we will be talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. As always, with my good buddy, Finn1010, and welcome to the show, Finn. Very glad to have you here again, and I'm looking forward to talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How's things going?
Hey, things are going good. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm, as going as it can possibly go, I guess. We're doing this a day later than we normally would, but we'll get it out on Saturday as usual, so that's good.
Sounds good. I say as usual, as if we have a decent schedule. But this is the first instance of us hopefully having a decent schedule. But
well, yeah, I mean we've got videos out on Saturday. It might not have been on the right ones necessarily, but we've been getting videos out on Saturday. So
you can hopefully edit the section later to see make it look like this is all seamless and like, oh yeah, like a regular schedule. Just as per normal.
Yeah, looking good. But yeah, I got my my Oilers jersey on because we're doing this on Friday night, and there's a game on tonight, so I'll be watching that as soon as we're done with this recording. But it's actually, I'm lying. It's on right now. It's just getting started. I'm going to try not to look at it. I'm going to try to just pay attention to this. But so, how's Assassin's Creed treating you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the Oilers are hanging on in there.
Down.
Like Assassin's Creed, I was more watching the Euros in the last week. Some good games and some average games, but soccer being more my thing.
Right. Yes. Wouldn't have guessed by your accent that you might not be into hockey as much as me.
There you go. But yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, I've spent a few hours in it. Like, it's not been. I had worried that it would be a little bit like hard to get into. I didn't find it hard to get into. It was easy enough to while away a few hours. I have been still playing FIFA or FC24 because I have the football buzz at the moment. So I've been going back and forth between FIFA and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But yeah, I think the first thing that struck me about it was that I remember hearing at the time people had said it wasn't very Assassin's Creed-like, and it was a bit of a, I guess, the deviation from the series. I didn't find that at all. I found it very Assassin's Creed-esque. Maybe there were some aspects like I don't remember, and it could have been there, and I just don't remember them. In previous games, I don't remember kind of this skill tree like we had in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. A bit more like I guess a Bethesda title where you can go down different paths and get different skills and all that. But yeah, I found it like a very Assassin's Creed-like. It felt very familiar pretty quickly, climbing and jumping around and all that. But yeah, seemed like a decent Assassin's Creed game, and I was enjoying it. Like, it wasn't, as I say, it wasn't too hard to get into. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I can echo a lot of what you said there. I mean, for me, I was surprised at how easy I could just start playing it, and actually, because we've talked about this before on these backlog and replays episodes. I've struggled with anything Ubisoft to try and actually get in and play it and stick with it. This one was easier to just start and play, I think, than any of the ones I've played recently. So if that's a good indicator, great. Maybe I'll enjoy playing this one all the way through. I think the beginning, that first, the Sparta thing with that really reminded me of Rise, Son of Rome. That initial opening, graphically, and even just the way the battle kind of mechanics worked. But yeah, I found I got into this right away, and I'm actually, so far so good. I think I'm in somewhere around, level 6, just kind of getting off the first island, and I've been quite enjoying it. It's been a good time, and we'll see where it takes me. But I think, I came into this video thinking that perhaps maybe if the game sucks, maybe we just move on to something else. But I'm willing to keep this going and talk about it some more in a couple weeks, because first impressions are definitely pretty good, much better than I expected, for sure.
Yeah, I think I will keep on playing it actually, and I don't know if I'll go all the way with it, but I think I'll definitely play it a little bit more. I do my usual thing where, I start off playing the main storyline, and then I start coming across people, and you have the little, triangle. Well, on the PlayStation anyway, you have the little triangle hovering over them, meaning that you can talk to them or whatnot. So
Right.
I go over, see what's up, and they're telling me about someone was telling me about some. I think it was a necklace, or that there was in an island off of the main island, and it was a shark protecting it, and could I go get it for them? So I did that, and along the way I came across a bunch of other things. And yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't find that little side quest, but I will admit I did skip a bunch of those little icons and stuff, just because I typically find with Ubisoft games I tend to get burned out if I try and do every side quest. So I was purposefully just skipping some of them, picking up the odd one. If I found that I was a little too low level to continue the main mission, I'd do a couple side quests to level up and then keep going from there.
So that's usually what I do, but I'll say that there was another reason I didn't like that as well, and that was because near the start of it, and sorry, before I go there, I want to just respond to something you spoke about a couple minutes earlier. I also find, I don't know what the hell they're doing in Ubisoft, but they have these, I don't know, you have to log on to Ubisoft, and then you have to sync up with your PlayStation network and all this bull crap that usually takes me like 10 minutes to get through. I think I've been through that fairly recently, because I loaded up Assassin's Creed, I guess it was Ragnarok. Is that the one it would have been?
Ragnarok, you mean God of War?
No.
Origins?
Valhalla.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, there's an expansion called Ragnarok for that.
Yeah. So I started playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I think that made me go through that crap that Ubisoft are infamous for. But because the good thing is that because I went through that, this one kind of went pretty much straight into the game. I was like, oh, I was okay, pleasantly surprised. So I found it even worse with the game on the Xbox recently. I was telling you, I was even going to refuse to play was Diablo 4. All the, you had to sync up this and that, like very, very annoying. I can't just go in and play it offline. I have to give you all my personal details and my phone number and shit. So just I can play
so they can call you on weekends. How come you're not playing?
Oh god. But this one was better than that. Although I did have the same issue a little bit with, which I also have with Ubisoft games, where like in the main title screen, I'm always feeling like they're pushing selling crap to me. Even though I got not God of War, even though I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I think Gold Edition, which I think has most of the expansions and most of the add-ons available, at initial launch and whatnot. I think since then they've released new weapons, or you can get coins from multiplayer or some shit. I don't know, but it feels like it's a bit too much of an ad. My splash screen, where you go in at the first base, but yeah, that's an irritant from Ubisoft. I wish they'd stop doing that. Both those items, but yeah, it was pretty much straight into it. Although on the PlayStation, the loading screens are pretty brutal. I'm sure you played it on the PC. But the PlayStation loading screens I found very, very long, very, very long. Even when you click on continue, you're waiting a good 30 seconds before the game actually launches, which is quite irritating.
That is somewhat of an issue on PC as well. I mean, it wasn't to a point that I found it really irritating, but I did find the loading screens to be somewhat longer than they probably should be, especially by today's standards, where games tend to load pretty quick. So I can definitely attest to it being a little more painful than expected. That's for sure.
And I'm not sure why exactly, because I didn't encounter it. I'm not sure what it's loading up, because I didn't really encounter it too often in the game itself.
Yeah,
Like it seemed to run pretty smoothly, but it was that initial loading of your progress or whatever that was kind of annoying. But yeah, besides that, I thought it looked pretty decent as well. I know you've been showing some screenshots there. I think typically the Assassin's Creed, they always do good landscapes and cityscapes.
yeah,
I thought the character models were a bit, like okay. I found
yeah.
like, somehow they looked a little dated. Like when I'm thinking of things like, even though this is dated now as well, but I loaded up the refresh version of Witcher 3 there a couple of months back. I just felt the character models, the musculature of the characters, the frames, they looked more realistic, more like human-like versus the ones on Assassin's Creed. So that was a mild taking you out of it, kind of, suspension
Right.
of disbelief. But the graphics in general, as you can see there, the landscapes are nice. There's always a nice effect when you go on the top of your spire or whatever, and you do the whole synchronization thing. That's always a nice effect, I find. But yeah, look
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean I'm playing on PC. You're right, and it's hard to see at least on my screen here, but it's playing at 90 FPS, lock solid. I'm not using any kind of upscaling technology, no FSR. I don't think it supports DLSS, so I'm not doing any of that, and it's all maxed out settings, so it plays pretty well. The only thing that I did find with this game that I've run into on a few PC games, I had to lock the frame rate to 90 FPS because if I just left it unlimited, sure, the frame rate would go higher, but all kinds of stutter problems. So rather than living with stuttering, I just locked it at 90. It plays pretty smooth at that, and it feels quite good. I am using a controller in the game too. These types of games, I typically will use a controller just because keyboard and mouse, there's no
Yeah,
real
actually,
advantage to it. I tend
yeah,
to prefer controller on third person. So
I couldn't imagine using a keyboard and mouse on this one. Actually, I think it would feel quite awkward. Yeah, it's it looks good there. It looks probably, in fairness, it looks better than what I saw. I have to remember the next time I do one of these videos to check out what the frame rate is on the PlayStation. Because
I
I
think
don't
it's
usually.
60 because I
Okay,
played it a little bit on Xbox and it's 60 FPS on Xbox, so it should be on the PlayStation as well.
it seemed pretty
And
smooth.
yeah, I am assuming that it's probably, I'm going to guess maybe 1440p upscaled on console or something. This is like 4K in width, but 1600p in height because it's on my ultra wide monitor. But
Right.
that's why the cutscenes, I don't know if you noticed one of the cutscenes that look kind of goofy because it has the black bars on the sides of it. But no, I'm quite happy with it in general. I think graphically it's good enough. The ground textures aren't great, like especially after playing something like Hellblade where the rocks and everything looks so perfect. To look at this and the ground textures, not exactly fantastic by any means, but not terrible either. I mean, close enough, generally
It
speaking,
is a
for
few
the
years
gameplay.
old now. At this point, I'm not sure what it is. Like, but probably 4 or 5 years
Yeah,
old. I'm guessing.
yeah, I don't remember if it came out last gen or not. I don't know when. I just know I've had it for quite a while sitting in my backlog, which is why we're here, right?
Yeah,
I sense you googling as we're
yeah. I'm
talking,
gonna
but
look
yeah,
up. I'm looking it up there.
yeah. I don't honestly remember when it came out, but yeah. Anyway, I
Uh,
guess the main point is I'm definitely enjoying it. The mechanics aren't bad. The skill tree, at least so far. I mean, I've unlocked a few things, but not a lot of stuff. I think it's okay. I mean, it's your typical Ubisoft type game. You kill stuff, you beat a boss, and you get extra gear, and you level up. So, but it's been fun. The
yeah,
story's been interesting so far, and like I say, I got into it right away. I wasn't expecting to because I've had a really
yeah.
tough time with this series lately. Origins, I think I mentioned before. I played about halfway through, but
Yeah, they've just been a bit too, like we were saying the last time. First of all, it's 2018, so it's like a little bit older, like 6 years old.
Okay.
But yeah, like
Oh, geez, is it that
I
old? Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, like they just bring out so many freaking like this is an example of having too much of a good thing. I think like they're decent games. Everyone I've stuck with. I played all the Ezio ones. I played Black Flag, which was I know you and I both loved.
Yeah, that was good.
I played what was the other one? Unity was a really good one, and then I almost like ran out of steam, no pun intended, with them like that. Like it was like there was too many of them, one after the other. I skipped the one after Black Flag. I can't remember what that one was like, but
I
I skipped
have no
that one.
idea.
There's one Cry Freedom or some like they were bringing out like not only
Freedom
these mini
Cry, I think.
Freedom Cry, yeah. But they
Yeah.
were bringing out these games, and then they would bring out kind of like whatever, like instead of like Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed 5, you'd have almost 4.5. So it was like too much.
Yeah.
And I still feel that a little bit. Like I feel a bit over them in a way, even though they're individually good games. I mean, I guess it's a cash cow for them, right? So they keep on milking it. But
Yeah.
I would kind of prefer a little bit less frequency and more, I guess, innovation, like from title to title. Like when they introduce, I know I keep on going on about such things, but when they introduce the extra elements to Black Flag, it really made a big difference to how much I enjoyed it.
Right.
But yeah, like I've enjoyed it. I found the story decent. Like the acting wasn't up to the standard of, like a Last of Us or Uncharted or a Witcher or whatever, or I'm sure as well Cyberpunk. But it was passable, right? Like it was everything was a little bit over dramatic. The dialogue was, "Oh, why are you doing this?" And like like it was
Yeah.
it was a bit
Yeah.
like you were going to a bad theater. But besides that, like
Community theater.
why could you why did you take money from the Cyclops? That will be your death. Oh, but I have you. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
We
of
can tone
course,
it down a little bit, like but so that was like it's kind of mildly amusing, but it's also fine. Like the story, the story, I didn't follow too closely after this one. As I said, I got distracted with a lot of side missions, which are all okay. I found the combat a little clunky. Maybe I'm just not that good at it yet, but I found the combat system to me. Once you remember like the Arkham games from Batman, and then there was the what was it? The Lord of the Rings one, Shadow of Mordor or whatever. Those games had fantastic combat dynamics, and I feel a bit like spoiled ever since Batman, in particular, for like these close, from fighting multiple opponents in close quarters. Like I feel like everything should be as good as that, and certainly this wasn't. But again, part of it as well is that is probably because I haven't got up the skill tree. Maybe I haven't been as good at it, but I just found it a little bit clunky. So I didn't enjoy the combat that much, but I enjoyed the exploring and the assassinations, at least anyway, if not the 1-on-4 or 1-on-5 combat.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that, yeah, I did find there was a couple instances where I would sneak up on somebody and then hit the assassinate button I was using an Xbox controller, so it was Y. It would be triangle or whatever. I'd hit the button and nothing would happen. And I'd be like hitting the button, and then I'm literally, one of them, actually it was just on the screen here, but I turned the video off, but I was literally circling around the guy hitting Y, and it wasn't actually doing anything, and eventually it said press Y to assassinate, and it still wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess I just have to fight. But that happened to me a couple times. But generally speaking, I the other thing that I find a little weird, and perhaps it's from just come from Stellar Blade in terms of parrying, I find the timing on the parries very weird. Like you almost have to parry way before you would normally do it in a normal game. Like I've been trying to wait until they're part way into the swing to get that perfect parry, and of course I'm getting hit because it's such a slow reaction to actually do the parry that you pretty much, as soon as the guy starts moving his arm back to hit you, you got a parry already, and it's kind of weird. But I'm sure I'll get used to that. Eventually.
I kind of noticed that as well. I just found it like I just in a way, I don't know what difficulty I'm playing it at, but I think it was like I said to you, I think I told you offline many years ago, I usually pick like the difficulty one level down from the most. I don't want it to be too super frustrating, but I want it to be a bit challenging. But I did find that as well. And I found it was a little bit like, it just made it easier, I guess. It was pretty easy to parry. But yeah, like just the combat in general, I found like it was okay. I'm hoping if I go a bit further in it, I'll get more skills and stuff, and it'll just make it a little bit more easier to kind of be jumping around and, doing more special moves and stuff. But yeah, like it's a good game. It's a good game, and I don't think of it, or I don't see it as much of a deviation from the rest of the titles. I haven't gotten to the point yet, really, because again I was distracted, but I haven't really gotten to the point really where it's showing me how this ties in with the whole Assassin's lineage. Maybe you've gotten there because you're following the story a little bit more closely. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm looking forward to playing it another couple weeks and seeing where we get. Anyway, I'm still playing some BioShock on the side too, though, on my Steam Deck, and I'm working my way through it. Getting a lot farther in that game too, but no, I've quite enjoyed my time anyway. This is where I found too. I was so used to Stellar Blade and the way she would lunge forward, like all those swings and misses. Those would have been hits because she would have lunged forward to make that connection. And I'm finding just the timing of everything is weird. You can see, I mean, I'm getting hit when I'm hitting the dodge, like I'm trying to go in Stellar Blade, you have the perfect dodge and the perfect parry. So I'm trying to do that same timing and just getting clubbed. And it's pretty annoying at first, but like I say, get used to it.
The fluidity just isn't there for me, at least not yet anyway. It's, I was, as I say, some parts of it seemed easy. And then, I mean, he was a few levels up on me, in fairness, at the time, so maybe that's why it was difficult. There was another guy I was fighting, I just couldn't seem to kill him. It did tell me, in fairness of the game, it did tell me that there was what you call a bounty.
Oh, was that the bounty hunter or whatever that was after you? Yeah,
and I think I was a 4 or something, or a 3, and he was a 6, and the game
5.
did tell me...
Should have been a 5, I think, but okay. But either way, you're under-leveled.
Yeah, and it just told me like, oh, you're not ready for this yet or something. But I said, sure, I'm ready. So I went up and I did a sneak attack on him, and then it took me like, I think I had to. Oh yeah, one other thing as well, memories of BioShock. The save mechanism is as well. Like you have to remember to save because. Of course, he killed me the first time, and I was like, "Oh man!" I went back way back, like another 30 minutes or so. Like, so that sucked. But I'm not sure what. Like, this is not that old a game. That should have been fixed by now. I would have thought. But anyway, I'm just remembering to save a little bit more often, I guess.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Although not the same thing in terms of that bad guy. When I saw him, I was smart. I went the other direction and kept my distance. And then eventually I stalked him, hunted him down, and I had him like killed before he was even close to me. I just killed him with arrows and poisoned arrows and stuff. And it wasn't much of a battle, but there was the other guy. Killing Cyclops was a little more work. Because he had so many buddies. I actually died once there just because there was so many of them, but I did save it right before that encounter, so it didn't cost me anything. I did have another moment in time, though, where I died, and it cost me probably 15 minutes of playtime.
But, yeah, well, when I encountered the bounty hunter dude, I can't remember what his name was now, but I didn't have my bow and arrow yet, number one, and I didn't, as well, as I said, I went up and I did a stealth attack on him, damaging him, and then like I was dodging him and parrying him and giving him a couple of whacks, and then one time I didn't dodge him and he hit me, and I was like, oh, like 2/3 of my energy was gone, and I was like, oh crap. And then I spent some time running away from him, but he had a bow and arrow and I didn't, so he shot me, I think, and I died. So but yeah, but no, it's good. It's as I say, I don't know what it is about the character models, but like I wasn't a huge. They just seemed a bit stiff or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's good. I'll go back. I'll play it more, and I'll see how it lines up with the whole Assassin's Creed lineage.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't realize it was 2018, but now, I mean, that kind of makes sense because it was out quite a bit before Valhalla, which was, I think, a launch title in 2020. So I guess it makes sense. It's just that old. Time flies, but now it feels more legit, like a backlog game to me. Originally, I was thinking, oh, geez, we're playing this. It's not even that old, but it's 6 years. That's pretty old. So, all right, well, why don't we wrap it up there? Yeah. Let's wrap her up, and I look forward to talking in a couple weeks, and we'll see where we're at that point. It should be a lot of fun. And in the meantime, how can people reach FinTinTin?
Well, you got my details there at FinTinTin on X and FinTinTin on both Xbox and PlayStation.
Cool. And I am at Mental9R on X, Mental9R on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. And of course, we are here on Caffeine Entertainment. You can also find us on Rumble. If you search out Caffeine Entertainment, you'll find us there as well. And as always, I'll say, please remember to like, subscribe, follow on Rumble, and comment. If you didn't like the video, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs down, because that if you didn't like it, just hit the thumbs down. But please leave a comment and let us know why you didn't like it, or otherwise we'll never get better at this. And thanks again for watching. And it's time to wake up and enjoy your gaming.